Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. The Canadian Grand Prix may have just concluded, but Max Verstappen is already back on the track. While most drivers typically use the brief pause after a race weekend to rest, recover, or focus on team debriefings, Verstappen seems wired differently. Known for his obsession with speed and competition, he appears incapable of staying away from the wheel for too long. This Monday, just hours after the race in Montreal, Verstappen boarded a flight to Belgium and returned to the cockpit. This time, not of a Formula One car, but a GT3 machine. The reigning world champion headed to the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit for a private test session in a GT3 car. The test was reportedly not tied to any official racing commitment or sponsor requirement. Instead, sources close to the driver revealed that this was purely a passion project. Verstappen simply wanted to feel the adrenaline rush of driving at speed again, this time in a completely different type of car from his Red Bull RB20. Images and videos from the circuit began surfacing on Monday afternoon, showing Verstappen suiting up and taking multiple laps around the iconic track. The session was kept low-key, without major media presence or formal press coverage, but the buzz quickly spread among fans and insiders once it became clear who was behind the wheel. What makes this even more intriguing is Verstappen's long-standing interest in GT3 racing. While Formula One remains his priority, he has made no secret of his desire to branch out into other categories in the future. His growing involvement in GT3 is not only as a driver, but also as a team owner. Verstappen manages his own team within the GT3 paddock and has mentioned on various occasions that he hopes to compete in some of those races himself when the demanding F1 calendar allows. This isn't the first time the Dutch driver has made headlines for extracurricular track activity. A few months ago, Verstappen stirred controversy by lapping the Nürburgring Nordschleife in record time during a GT3 test. He registered under the alias Franz Hermann to avoid attention. But once it became known that it was Verstappen behind the wheel, several competitors questioned the legitimacy of the time. Some doubted whether the car used in the lap complied with standard GT3 setup regulations. But regardless of the speculation, the performance further demonstrated Verstappen's skill and love for racing in all forms. Verstappen's devotion to racing, be it in simulators, Formula One, or GT3, is more than a quirk. It's a core part of his personality. Colleagues and commentators often point out that while many drivers enjoy racing, few seem to need it the way Verstappen does. Racing, for him, is not just a profession. It's a way of life. His hunger for track time is so intense that even a few days off from the F1 circuit drive him straight to another race car. The test session at Spa might have no championship points on the line, no cameras broadcasting every moment, and no fierce competition breathing down his neck. But it speaks volumes about who Verstappen is at his core, a driver who races because he loves it, not just because it brings him trophies and fame. As for the future, it's almost inevitable that we'll see Verstappen competing beyond the confines of Formula One. Whether it's a full season in GT3, an appearance at Le Mans, or more private testing under pseudonyms, he clearly has ambitions that stretch across motorsport categories. And with his technical understanding, adaptability, and unrelenting drive, there's little doubt he will be successful wherever he chooses to race. Fans are already speculating about when Verstappen might make his GT3 debut, especially considering his role within his own team. If the F1 calendar aligns in the near future, it wouldn't be surprising to see him line up on a GT3 grid under the Red Bull umbrella or even independently. For now, this week's test serves as yet another reminder of Verstappen's deep-seated passion for racing. So, what have you been thinking about Aston Martin's recent performances? After a series of underwhelming races, the team finally seems to have found its footing again following some much-needed upgrades. Their car is showing noticeable improvement, and with that, Fernando Alonso has been back more consistently inside the top 10. The veteran Spaniard has regained some of the confidence that defined his early season form, and it's showing, not just in his driving, but in his attitude off the track as well. A particularly fun moment took place during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, where Alonso made a lighthearted bet with a journalist interviewing him. The terms? If Alonso finished on the podium, The journalist would have to grow a mustache just like the one Alonso sports these days. In the end, Alonso crossed the line in 7th place, so the journalist got off the hook, for now. But the story didn't end there. After the race, the two renewed the bet, with Alonso confidently doubling down on his odds. The journalist, clearly skeptical, joked that they could keep the bet going until Alonso retires. Alonso, however, had something else in mind. He proposed a clear deadline. The bet now runs until the Dutch Grand Prix. And according to Alonso, if there's any race where he truly believes he can return to the podium, it's the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Alonso admitted that Aston Martin still doesn't have a podium-capable car at the moment, but he's hopeful that the team's current development trajectory will put them back in the fight in the next few rounds. It's a bold prediction, some would say too bold, given how strong the competition has been from Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes, but Alonso has never been one to back down from a challenge. The coming races, especially in Silverstone and Zandvoort, will be critical for Aston Martin. If their upgrades continue to deliver results, it's not unthinkable that Alonso could sneak back into podium contention, especially in mixed weather conditions or on a track that suits the AMR 25 chassis. Whether it happens or not, the playful bet has added a bit of personality and humor to the paddock. A refreshing reminder that amidst all the pressure, Formula One still has room for fun. Now, let us know what you think. Will Alonso make good on his bet and climb back onto the podium in the next 5 races? Or is this another case of overconfidence from the two-time world champion? Share your predictions in the comments below and stay tuned, because if Fernando does pull it off, we might just witness one of the most stylish podium celebrations in recent memory. After months of inconsistent results and uncertainty surrounding the development of their 2024 car, Mercedes seems to have finally struck gold, at least for one weekend. The Canadian Grand Prix marked a surprising turning point for the Brackley-based team, with George Russell not only securing pole position but also delivering a commanding performance throughout the race, finishing ahead of Max Verstappen and confirming a long-awaited return to the top step of the podium. The Mercedes W15 has been notoriously temperamental under the current ground effect regulations. Since the introduction of this aerodynamic concept, the team has experienced flashes of brilliance followed by deep slumps in performance, often struggling even to score meaningful points. But at Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve, something was different. Mercedes dominated the weekend from the first free practice sessions through to race day, raising the question, what changed? Team principal Toto Wolff gave some insight following the race, revealing that the key factor behind the sudden performance boost was a new rear suspension component that the team introduced in Canada. According to Wolff, this suspension upgrade was specifically designed to address a chronic issue that had plagued the team for over a season: overheating in the rear end of the car. This problem had previously led to excessive brake and tire temperatures, which drastically reduced grip and led to inconsistent race pace, especially on warmer days or on circuits with fast corners. Interestingly, Wolff admitted that the team had been hoping for colder temperatures in Montreal, expecting those conditions to suit their car better. However, race day brought warmer weather, yet the car still performed beyond expectations. This, he explained, was thanks to the upgraded suspension, which allowed the W15 to operate within a much broader thermal window. With improved cooling and reduced tire degradation, both drivers, particularly Russell, were able to extract more consistent performance over long stints. It's worth noting that the Canadian Grand Prix track layout may have played a role in flattering the Mercedes pace. The circuit is characterized by slower, tighter corners and heavy braking zones, which masked some of the car's known weaknesses in high-speed corners. While this doesn't diminish the success, it does raise the question of whether the pace is track-specific or a sign of genuine progress. Wolff was cautious in his optimism. He stressed that, despite the outstanding performance in Canada, the team needs to confirm whether the gains hold up under different conditions. The upcoming Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring will serve as a more rigorous test of the car's capabilities. The track is faster, more open, and demands more from a car's aerodynamic efficiency and tire management. If the car performs well there, then Mercedes will have reason to believe they've truly turned a corner. In terms of strategy and mindset, the team remains grounded. While the dominant weekend was a confidence boost, Mercedes is aware that consistency is what ultimately determines championship success. They are not yet ready to declare themselves contenders for the title, but they are cautiously optimistic that, if further upgrades deliver as expected and reliability holds, they could become regular contenders for podiums and possibly even wins in the second half of the season. George Russell's calm and controlled drive in Canada was further proof of his growing maturity as a driver. While Verstappen lurked in his mirrors for portions of the race, Russell never put a wheel wrong, managing the tires, fuel, and pace expertly to bring home Mercedes' first win of the year. It's the kind of performance the team hopes to replicate with more consistency moving forward. The bigger question now is whether this marks a true resurgence for Mercedes or merely a high point in an otherwise erratic campaign. The Austrian Grand Prix could either validate their new development path or highlight the limitations of a car that still requires refinement. But for now, there's a sense of cautious excitement in the Mercedes garage, a belief that they might finally be heading in the right direction. And what do you think? Is Mercedes back in the fight for wins, or was Canada a one-off? Let us know in the comments, and keep following Grand Prix for all the latest updates from the world of Formula One.